All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Natty News Daily podcast. I am returning Ryan Sullivan to the podcast. Now, the last time we talked, Ryan, it was a very different situation. You have a lot of different titles. We were talking about a different entity entirely, but since we spoke, you have, we'll say, inherited the Northeast Classic, the Monster Mash. You have worked your way into being the vice president of the ANBF, the American Natural Bodybuilding Federation, and you've just promoted your first show, right? So, for those that don't know, I imagine most people listening to this podcast will know who you are. For those that don't know, you know, successful coach, successful, probably downplaying it a little bit, but also maybe either whoever you talk to, either an advocate for the sport or a critic of the sport. So really today I want to talk about, your perspectives on promoting now having done so. What has changed? What do you see in a different light? Or maybe like what has built your convictions that you've been right this whole time, right?
Yeah, yeah. Um, it was a lot. It was a lot going in. This was not a I didn't go into a brand new show.
Mhm.
Almost, if you go in with a brand new show, you have certain pressures um to succeed, obviously. But going in and taking something like the Northeast Classic, which is 20 plus years old, okay, and inheriting Monster Mash, Nancy Andrews, Massachusetts, that whole base, big, that's big pressure.
Mhm.
You got to come in, and I wanted to come in guns blazing.
Mhm.
I was just doing everything I could possibly do. There were certain times where Nancy was like, "You got to put the brakes on." I was like, "All gas, all gas, all the way." And as she started seeing the content and stuff I was doing, she was like, "You know what? Go, go. You got a lot in the tank. Just go." So, once I was gonna do what I was gonna do anyway, but getting that stamp of approval from her, they were her shows, for her to say, just go.
Mhm.
That was a good feeling for me, and that gave me that sixth gear to get to the shows. But there is a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure going in. There's a lot of managing stuff. This, that. I want this. I want that. The budget, and then you're not a promoter until you are. Okay, you can criticize the shows, which I did plenty of. I
You've
did
successfully
plenty
put
of.
the target on your back for years.
Yep, I've been very critical. I've talked enough shit about plenty of promoters, but I knew that I would come in one day and I would show what I was made of, and I did. But you're not, you don't know what it feels like on game day at a bigger show. You got a 12-person show. There's not much pressure going on, but at a decent a decent attended show, especially with a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of moving parts at my show. Things go wrong, this, that, things are coming at you 50 miles an hour. And for you to be able to keep calm and stay on the schedule and be attentive to the athletes, that was a big thing. Sometimes where it was like overwhelming, where it's like, all right, this is my first time. I have to process this. I have to solve the problem, but also think, how do I not deal with this in the future? So there was a lot going on, especially with a lot of the stuff we were doing. We did a halftime video show. We had to organize the big checks and the awards, the belts. The belt had to be wheeled out on a stand. The belt is heavy. We don't want the belt falling. We approach things with more of a cinematic feel. When they were going, and when the athletes were competing for that championship belt, it wasn't just, okay, let's bring them out. Let's do this overall. It was like silence. An announcement is played. Very, very hard hitting energy music plays. They come out one by, it felt like a big fight. And that's what the athletes like. So coordinating all that was rough. You got to figure, doesn't matter how seasoned my head judge was, which she's one of the best. Stacy Peterson is one of the best, most organized, one of the smartest people I know. She's not in my head. Okay. The DJ I had has DJ'd countless shows. He's not in my head. No matter how much instructions I'm putting down, people don't know until they know. My expediter's never been expedited before. Never. He has no experience in the sport. I heard a lot of criticisms about that. Oh, you're picking someone who has no experience? Yes. Why? Because he's a blank slate. I don't want to deal with on game day when I'm trying to decipher what is working, what is not. I don't want someone saying, "This is how we did it. This is how I do it at my show." I don't care. This is not your show. This is a whole different ball game, and I'm going in a totally different direction. Bring in Brian, my best friend. Okay, we ran a catering hall with half-hour turnovers. If we can survive that back, right out of high school, I was like, this guy is for me. He's got a loyalty to me. All right. He's a security blanket for me. This is someone I grew up in the sandbox with. So when things are going wrong or the chips are stacked against me, I know he's always got my back, no matter what. He's not trying to angle this or do this or steal this. He's always got my back. So having him there was good, highly organized. But we were very green at first. The way I wanted to float things, I'm like, oh, yeah. I'm telling you, after the first two, three classes, I was back there. I looked up and I was like, I don't want to fucking do this. But then I realized that I needed to capitalize, and the audience didn't notice the mistakes. I noticed them,
Mhm.
but I realized I had to capitalize on the mistakes. Let the mistakes happen instead of stressing about it. Go up to that person and say, "See what you just did there? Don't ever do that again." Then when they do something correct, like really good, like Stacy thought outside the box at one issue we are having with stage placement, she nailed it. Me and Brian looked at each other, was like, that's how it has to be. So right after the class, I went right up to her, cut right to the stage. Was like, what you just did there, do that every single time. Once me, the DJ, the expediter, and my head judge got in a rhythm, oh, I was finally happy to see that product go out. Once we all got into a rhythm, we all did get like, okay, this is good now. This is good. At first, it was a little choppy in the first couple of classes. It was, and I was partly it was my fault. I as much as I wrote instructions down, they don't know until they know. And I had some weird thing about not going on stage. It was like I'm trying to sign things to the head judge. After a while, I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I can do whatever I want. It's my show.
Mhm.
I go right up to Stacy. Hey, we're doing this, and this. And once we started communicating better, everything worked very fine. I carried my coaching philosophy over to the promoting, and I said I would do that.
Mhm.
For coaching, I'm an in the trenches guy. I don't come dressed nice. I'm sweating. I'm all over the place. I knew the same thing would happen with the promoting. And there was a little joke backstage the day before we were setting up. Lisa Arpino was back there with Suzette. And Lisa said to Suzette, "Oh, you think Ryan's going to wear the nice suit and everything?" She said, "I think he's definitely going to." Suzette's like, "You don't know him. You don't know Ryan. He'll be in all black. He'll probably wear sunglasses. He'll be in all black, and he is going to be working." And that's exactly what it was all about. And what I noticed was the athletes noticed that, the coaches noticed that, the audience noticed that. Like, hey, this guy's actually busting his. I'm not dressed nice, sitting there like, oh, do this, or announcing things. The whole day, it was like an orchestra, all right. And I was the composer, I was the conductor, and I made sure that all four of us stayed in sync. And it was a lot to manage. Like, okay, well, this person wins a pro card. You got to get the pro card out there. They get a NutriBio protein container. That part with all the pro card winners was sponsored by Impact Fitness. We got to get a T-shirt out there. Then the pros with their checks. All
Mhm.
the divisions are in different tiers. We have 12 possible checks here. We got to make sure the right check goes out to the right person. So it is a lot, but once you get organized and once you get into a rhythm and people know what you want, it just, man, it got real exciting. It got very, I actually had a very good time once we got past those first couple of divisions.
Yeah. And people watching the buildup of this obviously saw like some of the awesome graphics, the video, like you poured a lot of money into the marketing and the advertising of this and the kind of the rebranding of it. In what ways did you kind of carry that into the actual like stage day?
Well, with stage day, well, again, I don't want it to be too gimmicky on stage day. I didn't want that. I wanted to make sure that, awards like this, this speaks for itself. When
Hmm.
you're up there and when they hold this thing and they realize this thing is 11 pounds, all right, and that music is playing and it gets wheeled out on a cart. Um, when you're up for a championship ring and stuff like that, and you have that big fight feel, that's the energy I wanted to go with there. I didn't want to get gimmicky and, come dressed up as the character in some of the promo videos. I would never be able to look myself in the mirror if I did that, focus there, and then miss something fundamental. So I didn't carry some of that gimmicky stuff over. I used that just for that marketing and that lead up. It got carried over, I guess, in that halftime video. The halftime video was cool. Nancy spoke, and as Nancy was speaking, massive projector screen comes down, and we did like a full. We treated it like a movie trailer. It's on the website, Bejic Productions. If you go to highlights and Northeast Classic, you'll see the videos posted there. It was like a movie theater. So coming attractions, you saw a Monster Mash video, and then it said your featured film, and it showed, a combination of the videos with Shauna with the rings and the acquisition and getting the belts, and then boom, it went into showing all the show sponsors and stuff like that. And that was a big risk too. Like no one's done some shit like that. The video is 6.5 minutes long. I'm like, well, what are these fucking people gonna think about this? But when we got it going and it got to the end and that theme music hit and you saw all the sponsors and you hear everyone in the crowd clapping, I was like, yo, I'm in. This is it. It's over now. It's
At the,
over.
at the end of the day, the sport's about entertainment, right?
Exactly. That's what I try to tell people.
Mhm.
I try to tell people, listen, the bodybuilding is a given. You got to have the talent on the stage. That's a given. That's a duh. You
Mhm.
got to have good judges. That's a duh. I'm not overlooking that stuff. This is entertainment. I always go back to the Vince McMahon, Ted Turner call. Ted Turner buys WCW, calls Vince McMahon. Hey, Vince, I'm getting in the wrestling business. And Vince says, well, we're in two different businesses. What do you mean? You're saying you're in the wrestling business. I'm in the entertainment business. That's two different philosophies. And that has stuck with me. Like, I'm in the entertainment business. The bodybuilding stuff, that's a given.
Mhm.
That's a given. But people want to be part of something exciting. And that's what I want to do. But I don't want show day to be about me. There's another promoter from my past. Okay. He had a great entry level show in New York, Long Island, and he had a great show. He had a great thing going. He was a little gimmicky, and then it started to find its way onto show day way too much. And it's like, man, like we're running behind and you're doing all this weird shit. Like that's a miss for me. I don't need to feel important on show day, which brings me to another point of like some people do. Some people are not important, okay? And when it comes to show day where they are, they milk it a little too much. They're on the microphone too much. They're telling corny jokes too much. They're milking that time because every minute is a minute in which they feel important. I don't need to feel important. I feel important. Sometimes I feel too important. People bother me too much. I don't need to feel important on show day.
Yeah. No, no, I absolutely agree with that, right? Like, I think there's a fine balance, right? Like, I know you spoke not at all, right? Which is
None.
is
Zero. Didn't
impressive,
say
right? That
didn't
it,
say one word.
yeah, the fact that it went without a hitch, without you having to do that is great. And I've seen, the opposite. I think a prime example, obviously we were there firsthand. Natty News went to the European Championships, DFNA, Lee and Daniel, there was a beautiful balance of the fact that there was zero downtime on that day. And I imagine yours is very similar with the video playing at halftime. There's not this like lights on screen, like nothing's happening. People are just kind of sitting there waiting. Like there's always something to keep the crowd engaged.
Yes, and that's the thing. Tell the fucking truth. Okay? Tell the truth. That's all you have to do. If you ask the audience for patience, they'll give it to you.
Mhm.
because I was in a situation where I'm looking at the roster and I'm like, oh shit, you know, no matter what strategic way I move these classes around, I'm going to deal with some suit changes because of the crossovers.
Mhm.
Okay, so it's like we thought ahead. Like, all right, we have two bathrooms in the green room. We're gonna set up it. We're gonna because I have extra tanning tents because we used to like tan in the parking lots wherever we had to. So I brought a tanning tent and that was a changing station. Get off stage, have your suit ready. We'll watch it for you. Okay. Get in that tanning tent, change or go to the bathroom, get in that tanning tent. But you still had a little bit of downtime. So in that downtime, we let the crowd know. Instead of there being silence, we had those pre-made audio drops. We designed these audio drops for the sponsors that had nice music. And I gave the whole list to the DJ. And it was like, hey, audio drop. We need some downtime. And it plays like, oh, we would like to thank, it's all automated. No one's on the mic. It's automated. Oh, we'd like to thank NutriBio, our sponsor. Nice music is playing, blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
I also had, Beth Kuchar, very good on the mic. She wasn't my head judge, but very good on the microphone. I gave her, uh, uh, in her folder, I gave her uh, stuff to read. This is stuff on ANBF. This is stuff on the BG Productions. This is stuff on DFBA Global. This is stuff on Nancy Andrews Presents. And if I didn't feel like hearing the DJ drop, I'd look to her. I'm like, go. And she'd get right on the microphone. Hey, we have a suit change right now. We're dealing with that, but here's some stuff about DFBA Global or BG Productions. And she'd read that through. As long as you keep the crowd engaged and get them, they know what's coming next, they're fine. Because there are plenty of times where I got this girl, Meg Tonelli, she's like 16 classes, right? She's running, stressing. I'm like, yo, chill out. There's no stress. We're not stressing. Go over there, stand in front of the fan for a second and take a breath, take a sip of water, and then you go on stage. Oh, but they're waiting. The crowd will be fine. They'll be fine. You paid to come here. You did like 16 divisions. You paid to be here. You'll be fine.
Mhm.
They'll be fine. You calm down, cool down. We'll read some drops. The crowd knows what's happening, and we'll go. When it came to the overalls, I implemented something called the pit stop. When you have an overall, bikini A, bikini B, right? If
Mhm.
you announce the bikini A winner, all right, that person gets to go off, take a sip of water, pump, oh, hey, oh, well, the coach can talk to them, make some changes, whatever. Bikini B doesn't have that advantage. They go off and then they got to come back on. With any of the overalls, we did something called a pit stop. Again, this is a preset track. The DJ knows play pit stop one. It says, a voice speaks. We're taking a 60-second pit stop for the athletes and coaches. Some you know, build up music plays, and then you hear 10, 9, 8. And it's like the crowd's waiting, like, we're backstage, and I'm telling them, like, hey, you got to go here, you go here. When they call you up, you do this. So they're getting ready, they're pumping up, their coaches are there. We're explaining where they got to go on stage because there was that choreographed part of this, which I told them in the meeting. I said, if you guys are pro athletes, you're going to perform like pro athletes.
Mhm.
You're going to perform like pro athletes. And not, I didn't get any kickback from that, like any pushback. Everyone was eager to perform, and that was a good sign. And I felt really good about that. But that countdown would go, and then you hear a big buzzer, and it was like, okay, now it's time to go. The crowd knows what's coming. What kills energy is when it's silent and you don't know what's going on, and it's like, hey, what are we waiting here for? That's when they become disengaged. Oh, let me look on my phone. Let me go to the bathroom. That's how you kill energy.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, I like the idea, and yeah, we spoke about this before, like the pre-recorded audio tracks or pre-recorded advertising marketing, whether it's on a screen, the audio. I mean, that's just a good way to give back anyway, right? Like
Yeah.
the sponsors give so much to these shows, you know that I mean, you got to give them the airtime. So coming out of that show, let's talk lessons learned. What did you walk away with? Different, different view on things, different, maybe respect for certain people in the industry, the way they do things. How did that kind of change your opinion on the sport?
I have like I was telling you before, I have that click moment. It's happened at very key moments in my life. I won't go into detail about those, but with this one, as soon as the show ended, I just stood there at mid stage and just looked around, and everything made sense. Everything in that moment made sense because, like I said, you're not a promoter until you are.
Hmm.
And I just became one. And once the show ended, it became apparent to me that I want to be the absolute best. I want to be the absolute best. But besides that, besides that, I really gained even more respect for the promoters who do a good job.
Hmm.
But I got a deeper disdain for the people who are lazy, okay, and take advantage of athletes and just take their money and don't invest and don't do anything. The difference between the bid and the ask for me, it became like the Grand Canyon.
Hmm.
Like there's no middle now for me. There's the good and then there's the not good because there are promoters who have been doing this for 20 plus years.
Hmm.
Okay. 20 plus years. Think about that. 20 years, 20 years, 20 shots, 20 opportunities, and some of them more than that because they have two shows. So at least 40 opportunities in 2025 to do something remarkable and do something really good and exciting and worthwhile. And they've been doing the same garbage for 20 years.
Hmm.
So that's why I pose my question. If I come in the first time, no financial assistance, okay, I had the best mentor, yes. Nancy is the absolute best mentor you can get in terms of fundamentals and some of that gymnastics you have to do mentally. You know, she knows everything. The venues, the hotels, she knows every trick there is with the fundamentals. But in terms of the creative approach and in terms of the marketing approach, I had nobody.
Hmm.
I came in guns blazing, my damn self. First time, 7, 8 months preparation. So that's the question I pose. I am either that good or you are that bad, or it's a combination of both. Either way, you got to go. You got to go. If you've been doing this for 20 years and you still have Windows 95 posters, you got to go, kid. You got to go. You're taking money from the athletes. It's a very expensive sport. You're dividing the pie. You're wasting people's time. You're making them travel for a crap experience. That aha moment happened right after the show, where again, it split it split so wide. Whereas like the people who do a good job, I will support them and I will back them and I will be there for them and I will go to their shows as a coach. Those other people,
And there would be, there'd be people that would say, anyone that's promoting gets into it for the right reasons and they're just trying to provide opportunities. And we could debate that back and forth, I'm sure. And I'm sure we have probably similar, opinions.
how you do
But
something for 20 years, 20 years. You have 20 years of the mistakes, experience, hopefully income, knowledge. You stand on the shoulders of giants. You have all this stuff at your fingertips, and it's still the same thing.
Mhm.
Like I
It
don't know. I
tells
don't,
me that they don't have the ability to innovate, right? Which is it's not a personal
or they
attack.
don't want to, or they're lazy. They're
Yeah.
lazy.
I'll take the non-personal attack. Maybe they just don't have the capability or the understanding to do some of these things, and that's fine. But your argument is it's fine to admit that, but step aside and let someone who can, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Either
Yeah.
team up with someone, co-promote, or it's time to go, kid. Become a mentor.
Hmm.
Become a mentor. Look at
Yeah.
what Nancy did.
Yeah.
Nancy knew that something needed to change. She was done with what was going on, okay? And she wanted the shows to go to me. She knew that if she gave me the shot of information and put me on the right track, that I would take all the shit and just go nuts with it.
Yep.
Like if she did that, if Nancy did that, then why can't some of these other people, why can't they become mentors to the next group, the next generation, the next people coming up, the people who are eager, who want to do this stuff, not just, oh yeah, we got to get ready for the show. Yeah, put the poster out. Yeah, okay, the only post we're going to do on social media is the poster. Just post the poster 16 times and they'll come.
Hmm. If
It's
that.
yeah, it's I can't do it.
Yeah, I mean, and very recently, you've been you put up on your story a couple different times, right? The idea of the Thanos snap, and our
Yep.
Marvel fans will appreciate that, right? The idea that the population is too large and needs to be rapidly dwindled, right? So defend that and expand on that a little bit. Your opinions there.
It's the perfect thing. Even when like I'm a Marvel guy, yes, but when I was watching the movie, I remember looking at Brian and like again another aha moment. It's like I took what I was watching and blended it through my lens, and I was like, oh my God, I get it. I totally, I totally get it. I think that 50% of the promoters should go. They should be gone.
Hmm.
Because why? They are taking up resources. They are splitting membership bases. They are making people choose. There's only, again, resources, money is finite. There are only X amount of weeks in a year. There's only X amount of Saturdays in a year. Okay. You can only have a certain amount of shows in a certain geographic location, or else you're pulling from each other. And yes, some of these shows are crap, okay, and they get 20 people, but that 20 people, they could have went somewhere else. And
Hmm.
that's the difference between putting a good promoter who's trying hard. That extra 20 is enough to, put them over. 20 extra entries, give another pro card or two. You hopefully you get more audience attendance. I think they have to go, and people when I started saying that stuff, they, oh yeah, it's a little weird, it's crazy, or oh it's Ryan again with Marvel. It's like, listen, you can think that me making that correlation or that relation to Thanos is crazy or weird or whatever. It doesn't matter. I believe it. I believe it, and I believe I can do it. And that's what's going to happen. So whether someone thinks I'm a kook or whatever, I think I've proven that when I say something, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do this. My goal is consolidation and strategic displacement. That's what I'm going for here. There are too many promoters, there are too many organizations, there's too much stuff going on. Okay. And if the athletes and the coaches and those people, the spectators, they want something to happen from the sport, we got to start getting rid of the rot. We
Hmm.
got to start getting rid of the rot. There are people who are great people who have probably been promoting way too long. Someone's got to start having a conversation with these people. Like, I think it's time to go. Like I stand by that. That is one of my central objectives, and every move I make will be toward that goal.
Yeah, yeah. And there's a lot of people, I think athletes, I don't know how many conversations I've had with people that agree with that, right? It's just when
Nobody
you're
wants to say it.
nobody in power wants to say it. Um, People say it and they don't mean it. They're saying it to do lip service for their fan base, and it's unfortunate because you're right. Like it's a true problem in the industry, especially in North America, especially
Yep.
in the US, even more
Oh
so,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Just to
right?
clarify, I am not talking about what happens outside of this country. I'm talking about here.
Yeah.
Here, there needs to be a United States snap, not in the world. The world, you look out there, shit seems to be going okay in terms of natural bodybuilding. Here in the United States, it is
It's a mess.
it's a shit mess. It's crazy what goes on here. Like I scroll through Instagram and I see a poster and it's just like, oh my God, what are you doing? It's what stop. Like it's no. It's no. And that's the thing too. I had people ask me, "Oh, now that you've done it, how long do you see yourself doing it?" Like, what kind of question is that? First of all, I'm not going to be promoting for 20 years. It's not happening. Like I'm going to be, like again, like a Stone Cold Steve Austin. He didn't have the longest career. He wasn't Ric Flair, but he came in and was like, "Holy shit." And then went away. Same thing. Thanos. What did he do? He did what he had to do, and then he wanted to retire. He just wanted to chill out. I'm not going to be promoting forever. I'm not saying I'm going to be in and out, one and done. That's definitely not happening. I'm making too much investment, and I want to really make these things excel. But I'm not going to be doing this forever. I want to come in, do what I have to do, drop bombs, disrupt, push things forward, clean it up, focus on my prime objectives, and then I don't know, leave.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Because every conversation we have, it's, oh man, look at the UK team, look at, the Aussies, look at the Danish, look at the Germans. Like there's a distinct characteristic with each one of these like cultures in natural bodybuilding, and the US doesn't have that because we're so spread out. There's not
Yep.
enough inner competition between the top athletes to let these guys truly rise to the top to say like these are the best five US based natural bodybuilders. We
Mhm.
don't know because there's 25 of them in the top five across five different federations that have never competed against each other. So you don't know if these two guys go against each other, what's going to happen and who's going to push who and who's going to edge this person out. So it's upsetting, honestly. As an athlete, especially like, I don't, my competitive career is going to be very lackluster. We'll say that my track record, but to like think about going and like competing in the culture of some of these countries, right? Like we went, like I said, we saw what it was like sitting in the European Championships and the UK crowd and the Danish guys were just going absolutely crazy. And they traveled cross country, flying in fans to come see these shows, pack the house with like 3,000 people. You don't have that experience here.
It's also not just natural bodybuilding. Like, not to bring this back to wrestling, but like, why do you think the WWE is doing a lot of their big PLEs overseas? Because here in the United States, everyone's lazy. They're on the phone. They don't feel like cheering. It's like, oh, okay, cool. Post this to Instagram. When they're overseas, though, the crowd's fucking wild, bro. The place is shaking. The place is shaking. You got 50,000 people singing in harmony entrance music. It's like, you know what type of energy shot that is? Imagine walking out and having 50,000 people singing in unison your entrance music.
Mhm.
Like the feeling you get from that is energetic. And that's to a small scale what I want to try and do. I want to feel something. I want the athletes to feel something. I want the crowd to go crazy because I was part of some crazy times. I really was. And I always bring it back to that the Hercules run. Oh my God, the shit that we used to talk back and forth, Barakat and Paul and all those people from 3DMJ. It was a deep rivalry. Like we did not like each other. But I'll tell you what, that Hercules, you ask Nancy Andrews about the craziest show she's been to, and she'll tell you the Hercules is in New York that she ran. The place is fucking crazy. It was crazy. It's shaking. People are screaming, chanting teams' names, chanting. And it was so good to like win there and to go on stage and to like, yeah, I won 3 times in a row. Huh? How you like that? Like the feeling. And I know they hated me. And then when they won, it was like, oh, fuck these guys. There was such energy there. There was such energy there. And it's that I lost that for a while. I go to a show now if I'm not coaching where I'm worried about, oh, I got to be on point. I can't miss something. And I'm just constantly moving around. I go to a show and I'm light. I have one or two people. Most of the time, I'm like, damn, I am so bored right now. I am so bored. I want to go to sleep. I have nothing to do. This is so boring. That's how I feel most of the time, honestly. I never felt that way back in the day. I wasn't friends with Chris Barakat, but when he texted me while we are at the Hercules was just happening, y'all remember those days? I was like, dude, there was nothing like that.
Hmm.
Nothing like that. That energy. I think I could do it better now without having so much friction. I'm good at creating friction, but I'm just trying to get back to a point of building the culture like that. I see what happens overseas. I see what happens overseas with the bodybuilding. I see what happens overseas with the with the wrestling. And it's like you gotta give them something. You gotta get the crowd involved. I think that at the Northeast Classic, people didn't know what to expect, and as the day went on, they're hearing the music. They started to get more involved. They're like, oh, this is this is very different, and hopefully that word spreads and more tickets are sold. I want butts in the seats. That's what I want. I want butts in the seats. I want people to be respectful, but I want them to be crazy.
Hmm.
That's what I want. I want them to go crazy because if they're going crazy and they're making noise and they're cheering their ass off, then the athletes feel larger than life. And that's the type of feel that I want. I want these people to come to my shows and feel like they're part of something. They're not just part of some chain, oh, get on stage, okay, blah, blah, blah. I want them to feel like they are part of something. I want them to feel as athletes, the sacrifice and the money that they spent, that they are larger than life. And that's what I wanted to do. That's why I went in with there was video cameras everywhere. I lost track. I think I probably left the video camera there. There was cameras everywhere. We hired people. I had stationary stuff. I for Northeast Classic alone, one day, one event, 1.5 terabytes of media. I am sucking it all up, all of it, just taking it all in. I want to capture everything from every single angle. You can go to the moon with that in terms of media, and again, building reels and making these athletes feel special. And
Hmm.
that's the direction that I want to go in. It starts there. You get the coaches involved, you get the athletes involved. They tell people to go, word spreads, this is a different type of show. And that's where you get that energy because I am jealous. I am jealous of that culture over there. Yeah, I watch AJ and his videos and I'm like, these guys eat, sleep, breathe this shit. They love this shit. Where are those people here? You know what I'm saying? It's becoming a jealousy now where I'm like, how do I get people more energetic? Everyone goes to these shows now. It's like, okay, well, what time do we go on? I want to get out of here. You don't want that. Like the cultures over there, they they live for that fucking day.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They live for that day. And it's just I'm trying my best to build that excitement between the awards, the lead up to the show. I was very different with my marketing approaches.
Yep.
Doing those video shoots, that's a lot of fucking work, man. It's a lot of work. That's a lot of camera angles. That's a lot of retakes. That's a lot of this. That's a lot of editing. That's a lot of planning. Dialogue is a bitch, let me tell you, when it comes to that type of stuff. Okay. And the videos we're doing for Monster Mash, oh God, forget about it.
Yep.
If I don't make it in promoting, we're gonna get picked up somewhere else because the videos are coming out with Monster Mash are gonna be wild.
That's
And
that's where I wanted to take this next, right? And Northeast Classic was the first stop. You
yeah.
got your validation. You kind of like proved your point. Now, where are you taking it from Mod Smash? How do you elevate that to something completely different?
Um, Now that I have that experience and I have that clarification that my vision works, now I can run even more. There is, as wild as I came out, there was still a built-in governor. There was still those nights of like, oh man, is doing this music, is this gonna be dumb? I don't know. Is this worth it? It's never been done before. Is there a reason it hasn't been done before? Am I the one who's, not like in tune? I'm always gonna have those doubts. I don't show it, but those doubts are there. And there was plenty of doubts. When you do something different, it's like, well, I'm either right or I'm wrong because nobody else has done it this way. So is there a reason no one's done it this way? Has someone not thought about it? Has someone thought about the complications? I don't want to do it. Let's go with the easier. I didn't know.
Hmm.
Now that I did it and people were specific with saying that what you did with this specific thing was outstanding. Now I'm just going to run with it.
Hmm.
I'm just going to run with it now. Now I have the justification, the clarification to move forward. Monster Mash will be a bigger show. We have, hopefully good international support coming over. The stage will be set up differently. We're going Northeast Classic stage. I'm keeping it that way. I like how it was, very classic. It's good. Monster Mash we're going for a larger than life setup. That's the stuff we're working on now. We're going with a larger than life setup. In terms of the stage, it's going to be some wild shit there. The awards are going to be awesome. Those are going to be fine. You know, the level of competition, that's where we want to bring in more people, get more people in the seats, get more butts in the seats. And I think everything's just going to happen, really from there. But I, now that I did it, I have that confidence, and that's where it's over now. It's over.
You know,
The only time where I lose is I'm not good at failing the first time. If I fail hard the first time, that's my vulnerability. And that's why the classic stressed me out, because it's like, if this flops, I know some people can overcome the flop. I mentally sometimes don't recover. I have to have just enough. And if I have just enough, there's no stopping it. And I had just enough and then some. So I'm good. I'm very confident with the Monster Mash and the stuff we'll be putting out, the awards. The DFBA is gonna be part of that. So, Pro Day, we're getting DFBA medals, so that would be cool. I'm trying to think of some cool shit for those affiliates that are coming over. Again, ceremonial stuff
mhm.
where it's like, whoa, I'm part of something here.
Yep.
Like that's the type of stuff I'm like mentally running through now for the Monster Mash. The Monster Mash is double duty. I have to do Monster Mash, but I have the DFBA part of it as well, which is fine. It cracks the ice for me. And I do want to get those medals out there, and I want those people over here. I got some cool branding ideas moving forward with the Monster Mash for this year that will encompass the DFBA stuff. Any of those people that come over, they'll be fine.
Hmm.
They'll be fine. We're building the excitement. They'll be fine. And I'm a detail creature. And some people notice the details and some people don't. Um, at the Northeast Classic, every pro had their name on their buttons. It's just little things like that. You open up your packet. Every pro had their name on their buttons. Why? Because I bought a button maker. I make the buttons. I design the buttons. I make the buttons. I can make the template. I can put whatever I want on there. Women's bodybuilding, I think Lori noticed. Women's bodybuilding, pro women's bodybuilding, they had their own buttons. They didn't even have Northeast Classic buttons. They had Northeast Classic buttons, but they had Nancy Andrews on it, black and white, because women's bodybuilding. Oh my God, it's Nancy. Yeah, you're a pro women's bodybuilder. So I go for the details. I go for the Easter eggs. I try to make everyone, just like my wedding day. I try to make everyone else's experience better than mine, because I'll live through the memory. You know, Felix is one of the guys who was on the poster, not the poster, the banner, one of the stage banners, Men's Physique guy. He's like, "Oh, I can't. I'm gonna go to your show. It's my birthday, but I'm going." It's like, "Damn, come on, your birthday, dude." Like, all right. We got Rocco's Donuts ordered, had a donut hand delivered to him in his seat, and it was just stuff like that. I try to make sure I hit that type of stuff, because that person spent money to come to my show on his birthday.
Yeah.
And that's the stuff that, like, people think I am this monster. I'm not. Like, I appreciate when people give me the time and respect and put the money into going to my event. There are some people who did 4 or 5 classes. I'm looking at the dollar. I'm like, holy shit, this person just spent that much to be here. I need to make sure that this person is taken care of, and I got to make sure that my event is up to par
Hmm.
because of that sacrifice that those people made. So for anyone who thinks that I'm just some monster, I'm not. You ask around.
Hmm.
Ask around to anyone who did that show, and they'll tell you what's up. I am genuinely for the athletes and the coaches and the spectators, and I try to take care of all those little detail things. I put a lot on my shoulders. I try to balance a lot. I put a lot of pressure on my people and my staff. Put a lot of pressure on Shauna, but it means a lot to me because I know, like I said, I'm not going to be doing this forever. So as long as I do it, I want to try to be the best and lead by example.
Yeah, I love it. Let's for those interested in the Monster Mash, let's talk specific logistics. When is it? Where is it? What, how do you enter? How do you qualify if you're American? How do you qualify if you're international? Let's let the people know so they can get those registrations in.
11/1, 11/2. November 1st is amateurs. 11/2 is, I said that right. 11/1 is amateurs, 11/2 is pros.
Hmm.
If you win your pro card on amateur day, you can compete as a pro on pro day. We have an agreement with the affiliates. So obviously, if you're an ANBF member and you go pro, you're an ANBF pro, right? If you come over with the UK DFBA, we're not going to give you an ANBF pro card. That means nothing. You will get the UK DFBA pro card, and that will qualify you for the next day for pro day.
Hmm.
We're running the same venue. We're doing the North High School, but again, great parking lot, full size like IMAX screen. I know that place like the back of my hand.
Hmm.
We have the athlete situation all spaced out. We know where everything will be. We'll have our CCN recording. We'll have the interview section. We have two step and repeats. So one backstage just for coaches and athletes, and one in the front so you could take it with your friends and family. This way, I hate waiting on lines, bro. That's why I have no pictures at shows. I go out there, there's 500 people. I'm like, yo, I'm not waiting. I'm leaving. Having it backstage, it helps for coaches and the athletes, a team shot. So we have all that stuff set up. There's plenty of room. The stage is solid, and like I said, I know that place like the back of my hand. It will be a very, very good experience. Plus the people who will be there, Nancy, Lee, it's like you can't put a value on having all these people under the same roof. You can't. Um, it's going to be a banger.
Hmm.
Like Northeast Classic is a great show, but I told people that I'm with Monster Mash. I'm not fucking around. I'm not. I'm coming in heavy again. All right, coming in heavy again. I want that the best of the best there. I've been telling certain athletes like, yo, like there are going to be other people coming here. You know what I'm saying? Like the United Kingdom, the Australians, Ireland. Like I want to beat them.
Hmm.
I want to beat them. So you need to get in gear and you need to get to Monster Mash because we need the best and the brightest from over here because any of those people over there, one, are already serious and now they're going to take the time to fly over here. Like these are serious people. These are serious people. And I don't want them coming over here and just wiping the floor with us. I want war with those countries.
Yeah.
That's what I want. I want a respectable, fun, exciting, but I want war with those countries. And that's how I'm promoting it. People are like, "Oh, yeah, I'm in." I'm like, "Yo, these Aussie girls, bikini and stuff like that, these are serious women." "Oh, we're bringing it." So, you need to bring it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm telling everyone. You need to bring it.
And for those domestic athletes that don't frequently compete with the ANBF, haven't competed with ANBF, is there any restriction on who can compete there?
Well, for this first year, no, we got rid of some of that formality stuff just because this is just that introductory year. Moving forward, what was the agreement? The agreement was Monster Mash should be a qualifier to the DFBA international event.
Yep.
That's going to be more for like next year. This year, you want to compete as an amateur, you get your amateur membership for ANBF. You want to compete as a pro, We accept the pro cards from other divisions, or you earn it on Saturday. In terms of the international affiliates, they have their own
Yep.
separate thing going on. That's their own thing. They have their own entry form and all that stuff. But this first year, there really isn't
Yep.
restrictions at all. So it's come in guns blazing. Next year, as we start to work toward that other event, then again, it'll go back to tradition where Monster Mash domestically was the biggest and final qualifier towards something else,
Yep.
which is where I want to be. I do want to be there. You
Mhm.
know, this is going to be fun doing this co-brand this first time. It will be fun. I'm going to enjoy it. I have a nice way to spin it and market it. But I do want to get back to just that tradition of having the Monster Mash as being the big one before the big one.
Mhm.
But this first year, I think is going to be fun. Some of those guys over there are Stu and Lee. They're great. Their athletes are amazing. If we get some of those people over here, it's gonna be a wild time. It's gonna be a wild time. You're not gonna want to miss that. You're not gonna want to miss that.
Yeah, truly. I mean, very similar to AJ's show in the fact that it'll be a true open international championship. There will be, we've obviously announced the NBFI, ANBF, the NBA, UKDFBA. There is another federation that we'll be announcing soon. So, I mean, you're looking at least six different nations represented and very strong nations for bodybuilding, right? It's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
the affiliate that maybe has, 10 athletes in a show one year. Like these are very competitive people. These are people that win world championships historically, and we're going to test out our athletes against them. Yeah, I'm excited to see who comes across. I'm excited to see who kind of shows up. I have a couple athletes that'll be competing. I want to test them out, and I'm very excited for it.
yeah. Me too. I'm nervous. I'm always nervous. For me, it's healthy to be nervous. If I'm not nervous, then I quit. I always say if I day I go into coach at a show, one person to 10 people, whatever, and I'm not nervous, I know I shouldn't be coaching anymore. I still get nervous all the time. I was extremely nervous for the classic. There was just
Mhm.
exponentially more things going on, but definitely nervous. You definitely want to perform. You want to have a good event. There is that added pressure of like, damn, you got to be on because these people are paying to fly here from another country. I know other people don't really care about get him in, get him in, these people are making major sacrifices to come over here. So you want to make sure that you have a solid event. You want to make sure that they leave feeling like they were part of something. You want to make sure that they leave and then have the ability to have massive amounts of content and memory from the show. Not just, oh, I got my stage photos. Like, I'm just recording everything.
Yeah. And the idea of like being one of the like inaugural champions of something that both of us obviously believe will be something very historical and have a very long tenure track.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So love it. I love it. And I appreciate your time for sure. So if you could leave the listeners with one thought, one kind of like parting shot, what do you want to leave for them?
Just the idea that I'm building shows for athletes and coaches, and I'm building high energy shows. I know that we've gotten into a world where convenience is key, and I get that. But sometimes there's a confusion between efficiency and being rushed. And for you to work this hard and to get to game day and it not feel like game day. I started to coin the shows as being more of physique boutiques instead of being an actual event. If you want to be part of something special, high energy, that has entertainment value, that will give you memories, I mean, you guys have been everywhere else. You're not going to lose. You're not going to lose anything just giving me a shot. And I do take this just as coaching, just as coaching, I take this very, very seriously. I think about it the first thing I when I wake up, and it's the last thing I think of when I go to bed. Coaching and the shows, coaching and the shows, shows and coaching, shows and coaching. That is where I'm at right now.
Mhm. All right. So for athletes, coaches, people that want to, sign up, register, find out more information, where should they go?
BJProductions.com. Go there, go to events. You'll see Monster Mash there. Be sure to check out that highlights tab at the top. This is another thing we're doing a little differently. Instead of just posting all the results for a show, I wanted to create more of like a one-stop hub. If you want, that's the thing. You think about doing Monster Mash, go to BJ Productions, go to highlights, hit Northeast Classic. That is a full summary of the show. You'll see all the awards, you'll see all the videos, you'll see the winners, you'll see all the promo videos, you'll see everything there, and you'll see testimonials from athletes who were there and experienced the show.
Mhm.
You have any doubts about Monster Mash, you go and see what people were saying about Northeast Classic. That's how I approach, instead of doing a traditional results page, I did a highlight page.
Love it. All right. So for our listeners, subscribers, obviously we appreciate your time. If you made it all the way through this one, give it a like, share, subscribe, follow, all that stuff. Give Ryan, BJ Productions, DFBA Global, ANBF, all that some love. And we appreciate you guys, and we'll see you in the next one.